going for the proactive mid-game, because SBENU, you should be able to dispatch Eva in such a situation.
That's right. I want to see the aggression. I want to see them take charge as we go into Game 4. Eva versus SBENU, and looks like the Gangplank ban's going to be first off. SBENU probably going to stick with the same bans or similar bans that we've seen from them all night, as Azir into the Echo, and we'll see what the third one is. Been flexible.
They have to print a bit of a retraction. We have seen one single Malphite loss. 10-1 is still very impressive for a champion that, honestly, the first time we saw it this season was in the playoffs, you know, from the Coup Tigers against...
It's Najin.
Against Najin, exactly.
Yeah,
so
we thought Najin was just bad at Malphite. Turns out pretty much everybody is right now.
It's really, really strong. Hasn't been as high a win rate in other scenes, because other scenes have copied Korea and really followed the lead and gone for that champion, as there is in Korea. But man, people have been making Malphite work thick and fast, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a ban. There it is.
Yep. Makes a lot of sense to take that away from SBENU, and there's a Lulu ban. Makes a lot of sense to take that away too.
You look at the teams that have kind of picked up the Malphite, and apart from the innovators and the likes of SKT, think about SBENU, think about Jin Air. These teams are not good at making decisive engages. Jin Air especially. They would get leads. They get 5th Dragon a couple of times and still not be able to finish out games. Malphite finishes out games either in a proactive fashion, sometimes in a losing fashion, but still, he goes in and he makes things happen as Nidalee is first pick status.
And look at that, man. What is this? Is this some sort of like grudge between these guys? Like, fine, I'm going to insta-lock Lee Sin.
This is
How do you
fun.
like this?
This is, as far as I can tell, this is Floor saying he wants to get in the jungle of Nidalee and outdo her, because while Nidalee does great things, that she can come out of Fog of War and hit a max range spear, she will not win an equal duel against a Lee Sin.
Oh boy, we'll see how this works out. Flaw does list Lee Sin as his #1 favorite jungler, so who knows? Maybe all these Lee Sin picks could have been takeaways from Flaw.
But still, think of the power spike. We've got a Victor, we've got a Lee Sin, we're going early, Doa, and that's a good sign from SBENU.
I agree. And Ryan, you know, he's been okay, but I feel like we're going to need to see a lot more from him if he's going to have any hope of making this Nidalee work.
Where will Ever go with the draft? I mean, from their reputation, from the video that I've seen, it's going to be another protector comp. Nidalee still has some defensive utility with the Primal Surge heal, so doesn't really pigeonhole themselves. I still want to see the likes of a Maokai to really give her a gank target in the top lane, but let's see where they go with this round of picks. They could maybe take away the Braum. That's one of the contested picks that's still available in this situation. Or maybe the Kennen
would be, I agree. I think the Kennen would be a good choice.
Baby.
Kalista Kennen, here we go. It's happening.
So what will the response be from SBENU? Will it be the likes of, say, the Sivir Thresh, which just will be out-dueled by the Kalista Kennen? Honestly, there's not a lot of great ideas. Or it's disengage time for Ashe.
You know, at this point, that might not be bad, and they're going to go ahead and grab it. Braum, Ashe, really shaking things up here.
So let's think. Ever since the last week of the season, in fact, the last week of the season onwards, what are the champions that are at the fastest rise? One of them we discussed is Malphite. The other one is Ashe.
Yeah.
What do they both provide?
Hard engage.
Solid, hard engage from just places where you haven't found it. There hadn't been a lot of engaged top laners being played, especially recently. Malphite comes in the hardest of engage. AD carries never been prized for their engage. Ashe uniquely has always had that Enchanted Crystal Arrow to make the big engage plays. So now you can go for a damage top, you can go for a carry top, maybe even if there's a Riven chance, you pull out the likes of the Riven. And
is this where the Tryndamere comes in? That's what I want.
Even Tryndamere is made more viable with an Ashe.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because they're man and wife, of course.
Dude. Is that? No, it's not true. That's not part of the lore.
King.
Is it really?
King Tryndamere and Queen Ashe.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I knew the lore. Well, you talked about carry top laners. Doesn't get much more carry top lane than Riven, does it?
Carry top laner in Korea means Riven.
Does it mean Rise? Does it?
It's a risk because you've got a champion like Ashe who's certainly going to lose the 2v2 against Kalista Kennen. There's no argument there. Something from the top lane with carry potential is what we want to see, and all of these are options. You feel like the Riven will be...
I like the Riven.
Riven versus Fiora.
Can Soul handle the Riven mechanically, though?
I feel like Saw, from what I remember, is the Riven player on this team. I believe Saw was the Riven main, and he's on the bench, so...
well, we'll find out. Olaf looks like might be a choice as well. It certainly is a way to get in onto that Kalista. Shen would be the safe pick, and that's what they're going to go with. Okay. Split push it is.
It's an interesting comp. There's not a lot of engage outside the Ashe, which may be fine. The damage also is Ashe Victor-centric, so
Yeah.
I think it's risky to pick this comp. There's so much damage, there's split pushing, but remember, it feels like if you give Ever too many tools to win, it confuses them, and their double teleport play in game
Maybe,
2
but
was really, really bad. So they're going to have to show a big adjustment 2 games subsequently.
I think Ever has a pretty hilariously strong composition in this game. They have got, look at this, Fiora, Nidalee, Diana, Kalista, Kennen. What team gets this team?
I mean,
who gives this to people?
If you want to be really, really nitpicky, you could say, okay, maybe not the best lanes for Nidalee to gank, but everywhere, specifically all the lane choices are just A+ tier.
So much damage.
And there's not that much damage from SBENU, so it's all on floor. Lisa needs to get in there, mess up some lanes, get some snowball going, because in the late game especially, good luck, SBENU.
Well, you saw the gauntlet thrown down, man. I mean, Nidalee picked insta-lock Lee Sin in response from SBENU. Are they going to be able to take that to Champion Spring? Let's get in the game and find out. And welcome once again to Summoner's Rift, Ever versus SBENU Sonicboom. Sonicboom looking to get a win to get them to Champion Spring. And Kennen dies way high up in the air. I think he died on the table of the vendor there. That's not sanitary at all.
My favorite part is it looks like a halo around his head when you look at the Kalista Link icon, just because he's got such a small model size of what would usually be around someone's midriff is around Kennen's head.
Why not? Ever have strength is what that says.
So effectively it's Ever fighting.
Yeah, more or less. It's more like, hey, you're down, but just like buck up, you'll be fine. That's more the meaning of that particular statement.
So I pointed out to you during the loading screen that Crazy Play has gone pretty crazy with the summoners. Exhaust, Teleport. We've seen Ignite, Teleport, of course, Amazing J pioneering that on Hecarim in the Spring Split.
It's been a 3-1. I like to go for midnight. Yeah,
this guy,
I'm with you.
This guy's on the ball.
I'm with you there. Yeah, there you
He
go.
knows.
Nice sunglasses. Do you really need to wear them in the studio, though? Can you see? Okay.
Is there a premium and looking cool, though?
There is for some. I didn't wear my sunglasses. Well, because I wear regular glasses, so I can't really wear them over the top. Sure. I'll get the flip-up ones.
Oh, yes, you should have the flip-up ones.
Yeah, when I'm 80.
I think you could pull off horn-rimmed glasses as well.
No. I don't think so.
Okay. But, yeah, the Exhaust Teleport, that's a first, I believe. I mean, someone's probably messed around with it, but it's very, very different. Looks like Troll Summoners, but this is a high-level competitive game, so we don't expect that. One of the reasons why I like it, they're running double exhaust. So Kennen's not running Ignite for lane phase, which is a pretty significant factor. In fact, both Police is running Cleanse, so they're not running a heal and bot, and they're running an exhaust. So they're not looking for the kill necessarily, other than just the strength of the 2v2 that is Kalista Kennen. The big factor I want to talk about, double exhaust against a team with low damage.
That's a bit odd, isn't it? Who do you really want to exhaust on this team?
I mean, hilariously, you just exhaust the Ashe and the Victor at the same time, and then you get healed by the damage from SBENU,
I guess so, yeah. It's a bit strange. So how does SBENU win this one? Can they take an earlier lead?
I mean, it's all about objective control. That's what you say when a team has earlier power spikes. It's get yourself into a scenario where, hey, if you got 5th Dragons, 12% more of low damage is decent damage, and the true damage is the ultimate equalizer. So I feel like Dragon Control should be a big consideration. The big issue there is that if you want Dragon Control and you have Ashe Braum against Kalista Kennen, you're going to have trouble. Ashe Braum is the strongest of the Ashe lanes. There is actually kill potential, and Kennen is going to have to pull back because they get the level 2 ping first. But you're certainly not picking for lane dominance in this situation, especially compared to whatever is fielded.
Whatever.
Whatever. Slight you knew, whatever.
Whatever.
My British side coming out a little bit.
That's right. People think you've just got an Australian accent, but you've got like a half British, half Australian accent.
I just have one of those weird upbringings where I spent time in American high school. I've got a British father. I've got 22 years of Australia in me, so between all three, I'm just a mongrel of accents.
There you go. Pretty cool. I'm just straight up non-regional diction.
You're Minnesotan?
No,
I can't do that for
definitely
a
not.
Sorry.
That was pretty embarrassing.
Hey man, it's all good. See
Well,
Nidalee being proactive. Remember,
it's not as bad as it is in Australia. My accent's not that bad, is it? I know it's not. You've told me it's not bad.
I invited it. I don't know if that was your shining moment, though, Dylan.
I don't.
You overthought it.
Did I?
You did.
Oh, well. I'll practice more.
Monty's the true Australian. He's very good at a barbecue.
Is he?
Yeah.
That's true. He is. Uh-oh. Ryan.
It's really nice barbecue. He's not spotted at all.
Cook Nuclear's goose here. There's the exhaust trying to get away. Use that flash. Secret defending his AD carry. Oh, but the stun comes in from Kennen, and first blood goes over to Ryan. Secret makes it out, but he has failed his mission. The AD carry lies dead in the lane.
That was super pathing from JG Ryan. He was able to come through and just pounce over, despite the fact there was a defensive ward down. They thought they covered all angles. They certainly hadn't, so we've been waiting for JG Ryan to move away from the Lee Sin, and look, he does some creative things and makes the Nidalee work.
Yeah. Certainly does. And now it's on Flaw to make this Lee Sin work.
Not much fun taking free autos, but that's the reality of most Fiora matchups, especially early for the tanky top laners that are in vogue in this series.
Yep.
Malphite was able to do just fine earlier, but Fiora presents her own challenges. Again, you mentioned it. We are a little bit skeptical about the Fiora picks just in terms of career. We haven't seen the massive carry Fiora performances we expected, just given the power of this pick and what we saw over in China just yet, but the potential's there.
Green top laners are having a bit of a hard time poking the vitals.
I mean, even come back to Team Comp. One scenario that makes Fiora really strong in this matchup is we talked about the low damage to death on SBENU. The damage is massive on Ever, so assuming you ult the right target, they're probably going to kill that target, and then you're going to heal through the low damage of SBENU.
Yeah. We have yet to see, have we even seen an ult actually work from a Fiora in Korea yet?
Yes,
we have to have seen it at least once.
Because the big thing about the Fiora ult is that, okay, it's hard to proc yourself, so in a laning situation, hitting all the vitals might be difficult.
Yeah.
But in a team fight, it's just you need to hit one and the champion needs to die. So
yeah,
it's pretty much a Zed situation where you're not doing as much work yourself, or you're just marking a target. It's why Zhonya's is so good, is that denying that heal, more so than just living, is really, really important against the Fiora, because when you get a kill and the heal comes down, it's such a massive chunk of heal and such an unlikely scenario. Your top laner providing big team fight heal, but it does change fights.
It's such a big swing in terms of life when someone on one team dies and the other team gets a lot of health back. Yeah, it's a big swing.
I call it the big game hunter.
Yeah.
The big game wasn't found in the last time we saw Fiora this series, but just given the texture, just given the fact that it's Fiora, Nidalee, Diana, Kalista, Kennen, like even the Kennen does respectable damage in a fight. There's 5 damage threats from Ever of various levels.
It just really seems like the draft went very poorly for SBENU this game, doesn't it?
It started off well. It's just, yeah, the Nidalee last pick, it felt like they were crying out for carry. I would have even liked the Olaf, to be honest. But
let's backtrack a second. And you said it started off well. Does any draft start off well when you insta-lock a Lee Sin?
I think you underrate Lee Sin. I think
so.
I think there's a premium on damage in the early game. Elise, Lee Sin, Nidalee, those are the champions we see this series, and those are the champions that provide pressure in the early game. And from Nidalee, it's mostly damage pressure, but CC pressure and creative pathing can make the likes of the Lee Sin work. It's one of those scenarios where their draft was fine, it's just they needed a carry from the top. They needed carry threat, and Olaf at least provides damage, can just skip through the likes of the Kennen CC and get into the backline. I just don't know what Shen really provides when you've already kind of hamstrung yourselves with the relative low level of damage from Ashe.
Yep. Well, ooh, Ryan misses that spear, tried to harass Flaw just a bit. Satsun's going to need to have another big game. He did it last time. Was able to carry. Oh, a little bit more action. Ryan getting very, very low, getting chased. Teleport came in, and there's a kill going on to Soul. They made it work. Crazy play coming down. Flaw has to get away into that red buff pit.
Yeah, the challenge is used. The challenges have been haphazard from Crazy Play. I don't think we've seen one come off this series. And what you really need to do. Damage trades aren't going to be significant. Overextension from Nidalee, well punished by Flaw, well followed up with the Shen ultimate and the ability to go over the wall. Didn't even have to use, did have to use Flash. Okay, so a lot of summoners blown in that situation, but yeah, the damage is so there from Ever. And if we finally see one of those grand challenges work, it's going to be team fight change.
Sure could be. Flaw lurking in the Baron pit. He looks like he's going to finally recall here. He's searching for Ryan again. If you got that early advantage, you might as well do it or work with it. But Sheen picked up for Ryan, so I don't think Flaw wants to fight him one-on-one now.
I mean, he's going the Warrior, though. He's got the double longsword in the inventory. He's trying to mess him up. That's the only reason you insta-lock Elisa in that situation. It's, I am the one that will deal with this Nidalee, because Nidalee snowballs in the early game. We know how strong she can get, to the point where if she gets a snowball 18-minute Rod of Ages like the previous game, that can end games just from the power of your jungle damage. But Lee Sin will outmatch her in an invade sense with the power of the lane, specifically the mid lane with the pushing advantage that we're going to expect from Victor. It is a good scenario for Flaw to get in there and mess up that Nidalee.
Yeah. Well, Soul able to poke pretty well with that Q, actually. Not too bad. Has to watch his vitals, though. Watch out.
It's targeted poke against, you know, a champion that needs to be mobile to get really decent trade damage. And, of course, so much of the damage and, of course, the healing that we don't talk about a lot is gated on getting into those vitals.
Wow, look at this Ever sneaking a dragon in. Early on, it looks like they're going to get away with it, too.
It's really big if they
shot.
get this.
Going to spot him, and can they seal? No, not quite. Nice dragon forever.
We mentioned that the main win condition, given the relatively low damage comp from SBENU, was dragons, and suddenly you're talking about optimistically a 39, basically 40-minute dragon 5th win condition. That's taking it off spawn, so really important they managed to sneak it out, and it's justified given the fact that the Nidalee was creating pressure, and it's close to Kennen. Enough said. It's going to have both the neutral control with the Rend and the lane control, just the power of that lane.
Yeah. Are we going to see some action on the bot lane now that Nuclear has level 6? Probably not on the support. I mean, you just Fates call him away if he gets hit with the arrow. You have to go in on Callista.
Good luck with that.
Yep, good
Kennen
luck with Kennen
walk,
protecting you, yeah.
Kennen will just walk next to you, ultimate.
Such a strong lane.
It's fun. It's really good to see a return to Kennen support because, I mean, someone like Gorilla makes you a believer. If you remember those teleport flanks and flanking aggressive plays from Gorilla, making the aggressive Kennen work, and defensively, it's always been the underrated thing. Whenever we used to see Kennen top, I guess a couple of years ago now, I was a huge fan of it just because the thing about Kennen is people think, well, there's a lot of counterplay to Kennen rushing in and ulting, and there is. Of course, the likes of Alistar shut down that play.
Yeah.
There's not much counterplay to Kennen standing next to his hyper carry like a Vayne and ulting, because then you suddenly can't get on top of a priority AD carry. And the defensive utility is why Kennen, both in a laning situation, but specifically in team fights, is so powerful from the support role.
Yeah. Really seems to be sort of a good replacement for... Ooh, are we going to go into this? Nope. It seems like a good replacement for Annie, I think, is where Kennen kind of falls in, because Annie had that big AoE CC, but Kennen provides that and, you know, a decent amount of peel, too, that Annie didn't really have.
If you compare the champions, Annie obviously had the better all-in engage in the laning phase, but the poke is pretty similar. The laning phase, on average, is going to be better for a Kennen just because the auto attacks have to be respected to a greater degree than Annie's auto attacks.
You're not going to run out of mana. You're an energy-based champion, so that helps you sustain a bit more in lane, too.
And Kennen is just outright superior defensively in a team fight. Okay, his engage isn't superior, but his defensive ults are so damn powerful.
Yeah, very true. Another teleport used by Soul to come back up to that turret.
Nice. Actually hits taunt just exactly from the spawn.
Yeah.
Crazyplay needs to run.
Yeah, he does. Took a lot of damage there. Soul going after him, even drops a ward.
Doesn't have enough points in his E. Wow, actually felt pressured enough to put a second point in his W.
Oh, nice taunt on the Crazy Play. Caught him right before the recall happened, and now Crazy Play really low. Soul is going to get such a big lead off of this.
And Crazy Play, let's actually talk about something. So we talked about the exhaust. I'm going to bring it up again. How do you ever do turret damage when you can't flash away from the Shen? It's like you can't even get under the turret just because you're guaranteed to take 3 hits. And if the jungle's there, you're dead.
Yeah, it's very true.
But yeah, really surprising to see Soul actually feel pressure enough to put a second point into his W. Shen players will, without fail, max E second. And Soul has felt pressure enough against the lane of Crazy Play on the Fiora to actually put multiple points in his shield. It feels like Taunt Sec, you know, getting that cooldown down to much more manageable levels, and of course the damage. He's finally going to put the second point into Taunt now, but yeah, actually felt pressure in the lane. It's surprising to see.
Well, able to get some damage on the turret. They may dive Crazy Play again. Like we said, no flash. It's going to be really hard to survive this one. Taunt comes in. Soul not taking turrets. Yeah, there's the Q. There's the kick and a kill for Flaw. Really clean gank from SBENU.
The optimism that we had earlier for Flaw's only growing, though. That's some pretty good Lee Sin mechanics.
That looked very, very tight, didn't it?
Whenever Lee Sin makes an aggressive play under a turret and does it cleanly, that was absolutely perfectly played. It was good to see from Floor.
Soul not needing to use his flash. No summoners needed, really. Crazy Play tried to exhaust, but it was too late.
Yeah, this exhaust. He's being punished for it, though. The turret dives are real. They can continue going for turret dive. Remember, Fiora's not a laner that builds any health or defensive stats until maybe 3rd, 4th, 5th item, outside of maybe a Kindle gem and some health building towards a Black Cleaver. So in this scenario, dive him as if it's a Rise or something like that. Keep diving the Fiora and punish the Summoner Spell. Greedy team fight Summoner Spell choice, because you do not take Exhaust for a lane phase against a Shen.
I really don't know how you can go exhaust on Fiora with teleport and expect to like not die 3 or 4 times in the laning phase.
I really don't know how you can pick Fiora against a Shen and take a summoner like Exhaust. It's so peculiar, because you're not respecting the kill pressure of a Shen at all. It just doesn't exist. It's not going to win 1v1 trades. You're taking the Exhaust purely for team fights, but you're taking the teleport purely for team fight as well. It's weird to consider Exhaust not a combat summoner, but against a Shen in particular, Exhaust is not a relevant combat summoner.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Baited in. Ult comes through for Braum. There's the engage from Ken, and actually pulled back by the Fates call. TML takes a little bit of damage. Teleport coming down for EVR. Canceled. Crazy Play not able to find a way to be a part of that fight.
What exactly is Crazy Play going to do when he teleports late with no flash?
Yeah. Well, I wonder if he was even taunted there, because he was still pretty far up in lane. Either way, that was not a teleport that he wanted to complete.
Let's call it a low percentage teleport.
I guess so. Dragon up in 25. First Dragon did go over to Ever. They did take that one.
Oh, here we go. The heal's coming in.
Oh, yep, that's right. He got it. Managed to poke the vitals, but Soul's still pretty tanky.
Level 11. Still has the ultimate.
Whoa, here we go. Nice flow. Kicks TML back in. There's 2 kills already coming. Make that a double for Saucin. 3 kills for SBENU. Dragon secured. Wow. What happened there?
His Soul rode down, didn't even matter that he had low health, just the ult was enough. It was a really nice play. We're going to see a replay, but it looked like just another amazing play from Floor, and he's got 2-0 and 3, 100% kill participation on the insta-lock Lee Sin.
These Lee Sin picks are really looking like takeaways by Ryan earlier in this series. We thought he just really wanted to play Lee Sin. No, they just really wanted to keep it away from Flaw. Ties up the Dragons.
Yeah, must just be an amazing scouting report on a player, again, who's not seen any play.
Right.
Let's watch the replay here. Let's watch for the Lee Sin. So, wait for the kick, which is fine, and then, oh my goodness,
Nice
the
flash.
kick into Kalista. Really nice play.
And Please getting knocked up by TML.
This guy sees, this guy conceptualizes engages on Lee Sin in a very impressive fashion that few junglers, specifically with the likes of Kakao no longer being in Korea, can look to match.
It's exciting, man. No flaws so far in this Lee Sin play.
There's plenty of time for that, but you know, when you're 2-1 ahead, when you're well ahead in this fourth game, yeah, Floor and SBENU in 2016 just looks a hell of a lot more exciting than they did just previous to this series.
Yeah. I think getting a couple of kills on Saucin certainly helping out. No kills on Nash yet, but again, you know, you need her for the engage, not necessarily for the damage. Crazy play. Getting some damage done to Soul. And oh, there's the ultimate. Gonna go for it. Oh, Soul trying to block that top vital, and he can't quite hit it. There we go. Wow. That's called using geography.
Still a really good damage trade for a champion. He's 2 levels behind.
That's a very good point.
His opponent, Nidlee's coming.
Yeah, with moving that far in a turret, you know something's up.
Had the pink ward as well.
Oh,
They
you're
took
right.
the turret though, so
Okay. First turret of the game.
given the scenario, it's bad as
Whoa, never mind. In the bot lane, people getting rocked, police getting very, very low. Secret taking a lot of turret hits. He will go down, but 2 kills for SBENU. Make that 3 in the bot lane.
really tricky dive as well. That's Kalista Kettania
2
diving.
Yeah.
They pull it off very, very nicely. They're going to take the turret. It's a fair trade. It's Braum for the complete enemy bot lane.
Yeah.
And all Nidalee mobility, you know, spent all that time going for that low percentage gank up top. Well punished by the good pathing from Floor in the bot lane.
Well, the mid lane we haven't seen a whole lot of, aside from when Saucin comes and gets to be part of team fights. CS lead again for Athena. Saucin's been consistently down in CS today, but he's made up for it by being in the right place at the right time to make a big impact in team fights.
Yeah, we didn't mention it directly, but it's a tough matchup. Diana is seen as a counterpick to the Victor, not in the manner that Echo is, where the Echo player seems to do a lot more losing. This is a matchup where Diana's so tanky in the early game, and then can really get in, use her Q aggressively, and match the wave clear, and has kill pressure as well if that Q ever resonates onto Sarsen. So it's a really good matchup. In general, the matchups are good from ever, but they've just been outfought by SBENU early.
Yeah, I would say so. SBENU needs to keep it up, though. They need to kind of build on this momentum that they've started, because this could turn around. Again, it's a very, very high damage potential comp for Ever.
We don't use the word much in League of Legends casting, but it's a tempo play from SBENU. They need to keep the tempo up, keep taking objectives, keep taking advantage of the fact that they have these earlier power spikes, the fact that Ashe can make the picks. Exactly. Every single objective they pick up before 25 to 30 minutes really does double duty, because you need to hold back this Ever team loaded with damage in the late game.
Yeah, now can they push down the mid lane here? That's the question.
SBENU, they're being smart, they're pushing up. This is something that Ever were not able to do in Game 1, but Game 3, Game 4, when they've gone early game, they've been able to make these picks. Nuclear's looking for a pick of his own.
Yeah, Athena right there, going to throw in the volley, so they're going to clear the wave. That mid lane turret certainly could be in a lot of trouble soon for Ever.
Fleece is in split push duty, it feels like at this point. Maybe it's more accurate to say Soul is. Until you finish the Blade of the Ruined King, you just don't have much AoE pushing capability if you're Callista. So it's a really big purchase. Obviously, that's the start. That really oppressive 2-item power spike that no one can match. If Corki's the master of the 1-item power spike, definitely Callista on the other side with the 2-item.
Could be. SBENU looked like they wanted to start that push there. Ooh, Sarsen comes in, gets caught a little bit here. Could be in trouble. Flawed, not with the kick to bring people forward. It's just going to send Crazy Play back away from his mid laner.
Athena just too low on mana. That play would have been clutch if he had a blue buff. But
wow, Sarsen doing a lot of damage with that Death Ray to Ryan. Minute 30 till Dragon comes up.
Pretty strong as Athena, no Zonians, but still pretty team fight ready with the Abyssal. There's the
arrow comes through. Nice, they caught Crazy Play. There's a gravity field as well. Kennen tries to prevent the engage, but he can't save his top laner. Crazy Play goes down anyway. Kills coming from each side. They lost a jungler, but this one's looking good for SBENU. Police trying to back away. Soul hanging out in the Chaos Storm, but he's going to be out of the fight soon. 2 kills for 1. Another 1 fight for SBENU.
Every single fight where they deny the grand challenge is so much more likely, basically night and day more likely for SBENU to win it with their lower damage.
Sarsen's got to be careful here. All right.
They were very close to getting it off, but Crazy Bay just dying too early denied that AoE heal that could have shaken the fight.
Yeah, that was a great crystal and arrow from Nuclear. Caught exactly who they needed to catch. Great gravity field. The CC train was pretty much unending, and Crazy Play did not get out.
Doesn't have flash, it turns out. So
yeah, that probably is part of it.
Now you can lunge away from an arrow, but so much more reliable to just instantly flash away. Didn't make that decision.
Dragon up in 20 seconds now.
Worth noting that opting into a dragon fight against Blade of the Ruined King, Hurricane, Callista, and just the other motley crew of items is a big risk. Slower timer on this Rod of Ages. 21-minute Rod of Ages means 31 minutes for that to be stacked up, but feels like the power is pretty severe on the Ever side.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a very crucial moment to the game. SBENU needs to be very, very careful with the fights they choose in the next 10 minutes or so, I would say. Yeah.
Even play out time, though, is a win here. They need to take the dragon themselves, but it's so difficult to do. So many skill shots to dodge. An Ashe arrow from the heavens is what they really need.
Or just Nuclear.
Fair.
Could be okay. Warding from SBENU. They still don't have that mid lane turret done. Let's see if they decide to push that. Looks like they will for the moment. Ooh, Soul coming from behind. Arrow comes through. They get Crazy Play again. Can they engage? Kennen coming up, walking with those stuns. SBENU backing away. They get the mid lane turret. That's really all they wanted out of that, I would imagine. They got the Kennen ult too, which is huge.
Happy to back away. They got the objective they're looking for. Now looking to compound the misery of Ever. Taking this Dragon. Dragon was the main win condition we established for SBENU, so can they pick up the all-important second one, and at what cost?
Now, they may trade the mid lane turret for that. It looks like they're going to be fine with it. They will. Ooh, arrow. Or the spear, rather, from Ryan. Came close. Mid turret was taken by Ever. That second Dragon seeming a little bit more valuable for SBENU right now.
Absolutely. They need those Dragons. when you have a low damage comp, when it's only Victor and Ashe for damage, and Ashe in the late game, more of a 680 item damage carry, you know, really needs to hit those 3 to 4 items to really put out comparable damage, even to a Kalista that does fall away in the late game. Ashe will be out damaging Kalista in the late game, but you know, that timer does shift depending on gold allotment, and Kalista's so damn strong now that opting into 5v5 is such a risk if you're SBENU.
Yeah. It's really nice for SBENU that they still have their tier 1 in bot right now. That makes it huge when you look at setting up things around Baron in the next few minutes.
It means Ashe gets safe farm in a lot of cases, you know, now to overextend a little bit and get this extra wave, but how many times have we seen Ashe fall behind and then have no option to pick up farm anywhere on the map? And this Ashe doing competitive, but also having safe farm, still way behind, but to be expected.
Yep. Soul having to back away from crazy play for now, but still coming out ahead of that trade. Just a big minion wave made him not able to engage there. I
mean, there's more problems though. Look at the item difference. You got Merc Treads and the Ravenous Hydra against Warden's Mail, Spectre's Cow, Sunfire Cape, and Homeguard Ninja Tabi. There must be an ungodly amount of gold difference between those two top laners.
Yeah, certainly looking like that. But if you look at the kills, it's not too surprising. 2-0-5 for the Shen, 0-2-1. You know, and a CS lead for Shen too. Soul is just way ahead of crazy play.
Fiora's not able to provide significant split push pressure. However, that is not a criticism that can be leveled on Athena. So finally, they're going to look for Diana to split push this bottom outer turret. Split pushing with Diana certainly hasn't been a win condition so far that's been readily achieved. It's
arrow into TML, gets pulled out with the Fate's Call. Yeah, you just can't go for the hard engage on a support when a Kalista's around.
Can ever pull off the double. The 1-3-1 was awful in game 2. So let's see if they can step it up here. Hopefully their coach talked to them between games and really given them advice, because they were not able to make double globals work 2 games ago.
We'll find out. Nuclear coming down to save his turret. Oh, maybe not. Nope. Turret goes down. Not quite enough health left on that.
Late game is not the friend of SBENU. Not just the double teleports token, it's just the reality of the comps. So keep up the dragons, try and get some control over Baron. They've been pretty good at fighting around Baron so far, SBENU this series.
Checking things out with the Hawk Shot. Soul's getting a lot of farm in this top lane too.
Athena getting trade farm with the Nuclear is not ideal, but see the Ashes grouping. China Crystal Arrow about 20 seconds off cooldown.
Wow, SBENU just rushing down the mid lane right now. Fate's Call is still out of commission for a little bit, so I suppose you can make this move.
Need the arrow to really make things happen though, so get a little bit of damage, but not much more.
Wow! Whoa! TML just blown up by Saucin. Easy pick there. Athena tried to come in from behind, but it's too late. Support's already dead. Police taking a lot of damage from Saucin again. Athena comes in on his way out. Whoa, there's a kick. Huge kick. That was a 3-man Lee Sin ult from Flaw. What a great play. That leads into a double kill for Saucin. And crazy play in a lot of trouble as well. Nuclear picks one up. Flaw is looking flawless on this Lee Sin, man.
What an entry into the competitive scene. He's been the best player for this team all series. What a debut, and man, a long off-season to really feel good about his play and get ready and retool for SBENU.
Yeah, and this is exactly what SBENU needed. They needed a jungler that could come in, carry, make plays. Flaw has looked so good tonight.
They needed excitement, Doa. They needed a reason to be optimistic, and suddenly 2016 is looking so much better. We're going to see.
Check this out.
The deletion is just, I mean, that's just Victor to a T. That's what can happen, and so.
Well, Saucin's looked great tonight as always.
Athena was looking for the flank. The exhaust was actually really good from Brahmin and changeover, but wait for this Lee Sin kick. So goes in,
boom, flash
casual W flash into 2 members, 2 priority members. That was Fiora and their mid lane.
Dude, like that was a Q into Safeguard Ward, into Flash, into Dragon's Rage, into 2 other people. That was a fantastic Lee Sin play.
That was mechanics, though.
It was. That was the insect of insects.
Flaw. What have we learned this series? Do not give him Lee Sin. Appears to be. I mean, look, people have isolated good Lee Sin games. You got someone like Watch who had a questionable Lee Sin career and then looked wonderful on the champion for a couple of weeks. So maybe it's an outlier, but I have a sneaking suspicion this guy's put in the time on Lee Sin.
Well, this game we've already seen better Lee Sin play than I think we've seen in a long time in, well, basically all year.
I just love people who can pull those plays off and they go warrior as well and understand their role. Their role is to boss the early game and be, you know, a peel threat late. man, Floor's initiations have been amazing.
That leads into a Baron for SBENU. Whoa, goodbye.
Okay.
That was the AD carry this time. Saucin is getting a little bit crazy here.
And he hasn't even gone for the highest damage possible. He only has Rylai's Muralonomicon, but adding in the Hex score damage as well. Holy moly. Saucin face?
Saucin face. That's a smiling Saucin face. Arrow comes through onto Ryan. Ryan cleanses immediately with that QSS. Going to back away. Well, TML tries to come in for a secondary engage. Defensive, rather. Not going to work out. Jungle duel, and that one's going to go to Flaw. I think SBENU's ready to secure their spot in Champion Spring. What do you think?
It was so clean, though. It was wonderful to see.
This one's over.
Are we going to see a sub 30-minute game for the first time this series?
I think we may. From very long games at the beginning, looks like this one's ready to end right now. Police still around, but second Nexus turret getting taken out. Athena looking for a way to get back in the backlines. Looks like SBENU may wait a little bit longer to end the series. I can't blame them. It is a very important one.
When Saucin's doing so much damage as he's retreating, there's always re-engage potential.
Yeah. Very true.
It seems like they're going to go back, pick up the dragon. That's the safest objective. Actually seeing Ever motion towards the top of the map. There's no Baron, though, so no Baron threat there. It's going to be some split pushing.
SBENU controls this game, hands down, 8,000 gold ahead. Any objective they really want at this point.
It's definitely so many options on a play. All of them are delivering. All of them are available. Speaking of available, they've suddenly got a jungler who, you know, we don't want to heap misery onto Catch, but man, Floor really adds a new dimension to this team.
Honestly, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with pointing out that Catch was a big liability for this team. He caused a lot of problems for them during the regular season, and Flaw is an incredibly large improvement, and we're seeing it pay dividends already.
Nice they managed to find that, you know, just out of the challenger scene, just out of their extended squad. It's heartening to see.
Very cool. Well, Ryan in a little bit of trouble here. He's going to cleanse again. He's got that QSS. Gets out of the Braum passive.
Found a lot of value in that, but suddenly now another arrow target is presented to them.
Yep.
Wow, they're really bringing this minion wave over.
Yeah. Well, they want to end this clean. They don't want to give Ever a single tiny, minute chance. Arrow comes through. Oh, right through the uprights.
It's a goal.
It's 3 points, but it's not going to get SBENU a win here. Oh, Flaw coming in. He kicks Ryan back a little bit early. Whoa, right into the kill from Saucin. That did not take long. Saucin getting ulted by Shen. Going to stay safe there. Crazy play. No plays to be made. As SBENU looks like they're ready to end it. So despite a bit of missteps early on, looks like it will be a 3-1 victory for SBENU Sonicboom. Welcome back to Champions, guys. We're going to see you in 2016, and there it is. GG, SBENU, back in OGN Champions.
3-1 was Longzhu IM over Darkles. Same story today, SBENU Sonicboom. And the fun thing was, the moment they moved away from late game scaling, their play on these mid-game comps, their initiations and play with the likes of Victor and Lee Sin was super clean, and that's a cause for optimism. And you can see everyone is feeling good because they have confirmed their job status for 2016.
Yeah, and Ever, you know, they put up a bit of a fight. Looked okay here and there. The game they won, it looked like SBENU just got lost. Couldn't close out a game they should have been able to win. Long off season for them, of course. We'll see what they can do in Challenger next year. But SBENU, I gotta say, if they stick with this Flaw guy, I am really excited about Champion Spring for SBENU.
And even Soul was very on point with his teleports. That's something that he improved on drastically over the course of the season. He was fine in the